Hello friends, welcome to my channel Your Views. Today we will end up chapter number 3, Anti-British Rising and Peasant Revolts in Assam. This video will emphasize on the revolt which were initiated by the ethnic or tribal community of northeastern part of our country. We will start with the revolt initiated by Jaintia people. So the Jaintia kingdom was ruled by a king called Rajendra Singha, and in the year 1835, this part or the kingdom, Jaintia kingdom, was took over by the British government. It was in the year 1835, and there were several reasons for which the outbreak of the revolt happened. And the main reasons behind the outbreak of the revolt are: number one is that government had given the responsibilities of Faujdari and Diwani to the local Dolois, who were the eminent personality of the Jaintia community, among the Jaintia community, and they were given this responsibility. But the colonial administrative officers, they used to, or they tried to find some kind of faults on their activities, on their works. So this made these Dolois and the local community a bit furious. They didn't see in good eyes. Apart from this, British government also imposed ban on fishing and collection of firewood, which were the prime activity, or which were the main activity of the tribal community. Till today also we used to see this kind of activities they used to carry on. But the British, they imposed ban on their activity. This has also made discontentment among the Jaintia community. Also, they tried to interfere in their religious and social matters. They also imposed ban on the use of weapons, which was a tradition for these hill people or hill tribes, as because they used to carry weapons, because they used to stay in hill areas, or in they used to do the activities, their main activities, in the hilly or in forests. So they had to encounter, so many times they had to encounter with the wild animals. So in those days they used to carry weapons with them. But here also the British imposed ban on the use of weapons which they had to carry. Government also imposed several taxes which they had to pay in cash, but they had never paid taxes in cash. Rather it was in kind. So as we have discussed in the earlier videos about the people of Assam, they had also paid the taxes in cash, and which was a new thing for the people of this part of our country. So all these factors collectively turned the Jaintia people or the tribe completely against the British government, and eventually the revolt outbroke. So what were the main what were the how the Jaintia revolt, it has started against the Britishers? You see, there was a leader called Ukiang Nonbah who took the lead of this revolt, and in the year 1862, it was on 17th January, people suddenly attacked British camp in Jowai. Jowai is a small town in Meghalaya. You can see it's a beautiful town, and they blocked the two major roads connecting Jowai and Cherrapunji to Jaintipur. Jaintipur is a town which is now located in present-day Bangladesh. This was their capital city of Jaintipur. So the British forces, on the other hand, adopted stern measures and tortured people inhumanely because of this activity. Because the people of Jaintia, they took these measures. They blocked the roads, which was in Jowai, which was the main center of the British government. So to control the situation in the Jaintia, in Jaintia Hill, the British deployed two new officers: J.D. Showers as Brigadier General of East and B.W. Morton as Deputy Commissioner of Kashi and Jaintia Hills. So government's continuous attack on the people or the rebels has made or has gradually they this has made the rebels a bit weak and lost strength and confidence. And government also announced that on the surrender of any of the rebels will let them free from any kind of trial. Also government has fixed a reward of rupees 1000 whosoever give the information or capture and hand over Ukiang Nonbah, their leader, alive to the government, to the British government. So ultimately, after few days, Ukiang Nonbah was finally caught and hanged in front of hundreds of Jaintia people, hundreds of Jaintia tribes in the city, in the town of Joai. So the death of the leader and the surrender of many others had weakened the Jaintia Revolt, and it ended in the year 1863. So this is how the Jaintia Revolt started and ended. Now we will see the revolt which was initiated in the North-Cachar hill, presently called Dima-Hasao district of Assam. The revolt of North-Cachar is worth mentioning, which was fought under the leadership of Sambhudhan Kachari. He was the leader of this revolt, and the revolt started in the year 1881 and it lasted till 1882. And the main center of the revolt was Maibang. The revolt started when the British government formed a Kuki force to fight against Angami Nagas. It's a tribe among the Naga community, among the Naga tribe. It's a small tribe in among the Nagas, and this Angami people, these Angami Nagas, were against the Britishers, and to fight against these Angami Nagas, the Britishers built up a force of Kukis. Kuki is also a separate tribe in Assam, as well as in we can find this tribe in Manipur and Nagaland. So in this conflict, of the rebels destroyed many houses built by the British and killed orderlies of 2 British officers and a police officer as well. So orderlies were two. There were 2 medical attendant of the British officers. They were also being killed and a police officer killed. So in order to take the revenge, the British government used a huge force against these rebels, and in Maibang, and in retaliation of the British force, many of the rebels lost their lives. In this violent conflict, a British officer, Major Boyd, lost his life. The revolt eventually ended when Sambhudhan Kachari found missing, and no information had been gathered of his presence, or where he went nobody knows. And eventually the revolt had ended in the year 1882. Now we will focus on the revolt which was initiated by the Naga community. Nagas too that didn't accept the control of the Britishers, and they revolted against the colonial government. And this revolt has started in the year 1878 when they killed a British officer, Damante, and his security. So Kohima was blocked by these Nagas for several days, and the revolt of Nagas was especially led by the Angami Nagas. Colonel Johnston crushed the Naga revolt strong-handedly. So this way it had entered in that very year, in the year 1878. Now this is one of the important revolt in the northeastern history against the British. So from this revolt, a great leader has been known to the world, Veer Tikendrajit. So Manipur was outside the administration of Assam, and it has its native kingdom under the British protection. And in the year 1890, an internal quarrel broke out among the princes of the Manipur who will take over the throne. So this was the quarrel among the princes of the Manipur royal family. So the British here, they found it as an advantage to interfere into the matter unnecessarily, and taking this advantage where Britishers came and there were several and quarrel among the among the royal family, Prince Kulachandra declared himself as the king and dethroned King Surachandra. Though Surachandra sought the help of the British, but the British had given their verdict in favor of Kulachandra as the king of Manipur. After this drama, the British pressurized Kulachandra as because they had given their support to Kulachandra. Now they are demanding that they should that he should hand over, or he should release Tikendrajit, who was the chief commander in chief of Manipur kingdom, as he was leading a revolt secretly against the Britishers. The Britishers came to know about that he was plotting a conspiracy. He was plotting a revolt against the Britishers to overthrow the British interference in the kingdom of Manipur. So they realized, and they had pressurized Kulachandra, who was the king of Manipur. But it was not easy for Kulachandra to remove Tikendrajit from his duty. So knowing all these facts, Chief Commissioner of Assam, J.W. Quinton, he came to Manipur to arrest Tikendrajit along with his 4 European officers. But all of them were killed by the Manipuri people. And in order to take the revenge, the British government had sent a huge force to capture Tikendrajit, and they successfully captured him and hanged him on the charge of anti-British activities and killing British officers. So this was his fault, and he was hanged by the British government. King Kulachandra was exiled, and minor Churachandra was placed as the king of Manipur. We have seen so many of instances that the minor were placed in the kingdom so that he may be a puppet in the hands of the British government. A political agent was placed by the British government for the administration of the kingdom, as the king was a minor. And as a compensation for the damage, the British government demanded rupees 2.5 lakh. An amount of rupees 2.5 lakh had to be paid as a compensation for the damage which was caused by the revolt, and the Manipur kingdom had to pay an amount of rupees 50,000 annually to the British government. And with this area, that is the Manipur kingdom, was directly came under the domination of the British government, and they took the charge of the Manipur kingdom completely. So with this, I would like to end the video. Thank you so much.